Art, we made it. Are you okay after that game?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. You know, I'm always happy to talk sports, even when my team loses.
Well, one promise is we won't talk about the NFC East anymore.
Yeah.
We're coming up. Sports Sunday on the way.
Portland will be the 18th team in Major League Soccer.
It's the City of Portland's championship.
It is great to be home.
Sports Sunday with Orlando Sanchez.
And the countdown is on. College football just 6 days away in the Northwest. We're starting to get some answers from the Ducks and Beavers. We do know at least one starting quarterback, plus we don't know when the Blazers will next hit the Moda Center, but they'll have a new court and new jerseys to show off. I know you're feeling those jerseys, Art. You probably already bought one, man. And Justin Herbert doing work in Denver, but his defense clocked out of work early. What is good, everyone? Welcome to Sports Sunday. My name is Orlando, joined as always by Art Edwards, and he's got his socially distant game going.
Oh, yeah.
Where in the world is Art Edwards?
I love the skyline behind me. I'm in Qatar. There's a squash tournament going on, the Qatar Classic. Of course, you know I love those racket sports. 7,500 miles away from you in Portland.
You have the best assignments in the game, man.
Yes. Hey, and it's sunny and 78 degrees.
Well, I'm a little jealous of that, man. I need you to hang out for a little bit because we got a lot to talk about. We got to start with those Seattle Seahawks, all right, man? There was no overtime, no last-second drama. Shocking, I know. We've become accustomed to that being a part of Seahawks football, especially against their rivals, the San Francisco 49ers. Art, what happened to your boys?
Oh, I don't know.
You know, both meetings last year, they were decided by 5 points or less. That wasn't the case today. CenturyLink Field, the Seahawks playing host to the 49ers, two teams with a long list of injuries. Another game, another DK Metcalf highlight. He's listed at 6'4", 230 pounds. You're just not supposed to be able to move like this. The man runs a 4.3 40-yard dash. That's really fast. Well, he followed that up in the second quarter with his second touchdown grab of the day. Metcalf, he caught a career-high 12 passes for 161 yards. Russell Wilson, it was just another day at the office. 4 touchdown passes. Seattle was up 30-7 in the fourth quarter. And we got to talk about the defense for a minute. Forced a couple of turnovers, and Bobby Wagner, he was everywhere. 11 tackles, 2 sacks. Quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, he was taken out of this game. And still San Francisco found the end zone 3 times in the fourth quarter to make things interesting, but it was too little, too late, wasn't enough. And the Seahawks win it 37-27. It's their first double-digit win of the season. They're now 6-1 for just the second time in franchise history. And they sport the best record in the NFC.
Guys have stepped up and just, what we're focused on, like I said earlier, is just winning, you know, just the process of it all and just understanding that there's going to be tough games, there's going to be tough battles. We're in the toughest division in football, hands down.
The thing I like probably best about the game is the defensive play. Up until like the fourth quarter, they had 112 yards or something like that. And run past all the whole thing. We really played really good ball today.
I felt like we needed to stop talking and just do the work and let our play show. And so I felt like we were a lot more aggressive.
Bobby actually told me to wear this suit today because he said I was going to ball out. So, appreciate the prophet Bobby over there.
Let's head back to CenturyLink Field and check in with Seahawks insider with NBC Sports Northwest, Joe Fann. Joe is in the press box right now. Joe, what are you taking away from this game?
Yeah, I mean, it was a huge step forward for the Seahawks defense, and it's just amazing what happens when you get quarterback pressure, right? I mean, we saw last week in that loss to Kyler Murray when he drops back 50 times, and you only pressure him once and you fail to hit him once. It was a much different story, an obvious shift in game plan for the Seahawks, who blitzed relentlessly against the Niners, and they had some success against Jimmy Garoppolo, making him uncomfortable, forcing him into bad decisions, and getting some sacks along the way. Bobby Wagner was tremendous in this one. He had 2 sacks. DJ Reed in his Seahawks debut made an impact blitzing from the nickel spot. Alton Robinson had a sack, and so that's really positive. And Russell Wilson continues to be Russell Wilson. You see the Seahawks have 2 bona fide superstars at his disposal. Last week it was Tyler Lockett. This week it was DK Metcalf taking over the game. A career high 12 catches for $161, also a career high for him, and then 2 touchdowns. All around a really nice game for the Seahawks.
Joe, how should Seahawks fans feel about this game, especially how it ended? They give up 20 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, you always feel good beating a division rival, and by Seahawks standard, that's a blowout win. You know what I'm saying? Like, it got to where it was a 2-point conversion away from being a 1-score game. They pretty much closed the door pretty quickly after that. And so, all things considered, given the level of anxiety this team causes its fans on a weekly basis, this was nothing.
Just your thoughts, Joe, on the way that DK Metcalf is playing this season and how spectacular he has been and what it's been like for you to see him in person.
He's just so physically dominant. I mean, it's his speed, right, on the first touchdown where he just runs away from the defense. It's his strength. You know, catching that second touchdown, the 2-yarder, with a guy draped all over him, called for holding, and he still catches the touchdown anyways. And it's the mentality, you know. He goes out wanting to dominate, expecting to dominate, but last week when it was Tyler Lockett's game, he didn't bat an eye, and he was celebrating right along with everybody else with Tyler Lockett. There's no bit of being a diva or wanting his or needing his numbers. This guy just wants to win. He's an ultimate team first guy, which is really impressive for a player in just his second year.
Are you impressed with the way this team has been able to rebound after a loss?
I am, yeah, and that's always been a staple of the Russell Wilson era. I mean, they were so good at flushing bad games, moving on, coming back out and putting together a better performance. And, you know, despite a little bit of a sluggish start offensively, they were rolling, you know, from the 3rd drive on. This is a team that's so mentally tough. We talk about it each and every week, Orlando, that, you know, they are probably the most mentally tough team in all of football.
Nicely done, Joe Fan, Seahawks insider with NBC Sports Northwest. All right, Art, we get to move off of your 49ers. I know that had to be difficult for you to sit through, man. All right, well, it's time for us to take our trip around the NFL, brought to you by Hyundai. And we start in the Mile High City with the Broncos hosting Justin Herbert and the Chargers. Herbert showed flashes of brilliance in this game. The perfect scoring strike here, my goodness. He threw 3 touchdown passes, but he also had 2 interceptions. And the Chargers had a 24-3 lead. 24-3, and the defense couldn't seal the deal. Drew Lock and the Broncos score right here, final second of the game. They kick the extra point, and it's all over to complete the comeback. Denver wins 31-30. The Chargers become the first team since the 2003 Falcons to blow 3 games when they led by 17 or more points. Art, is this the kind of up and down performance we should expect from Herbert and company?
Well, you know, probably so. I mean, Justin Herbert was awesome most of the game. He did throw the 2 interceptions, but they've got to find some defense. You know what? If they've got to get some defenders out there to help them out. Otherwise, it's going to be a really, really, really long season for the Chargers.
That final drive was brutal, Art, to watch.
It was.
Yeah, he needs some help, man, but it's good to see that he's able to hang in there. So far, so good for him.
That's right.
Is putting himself in position to be Rookie of the Year offensively.
Looks good, yes. Hey, the best game of the day on paper was the one between a couple of AFC North rivals. The Baltimore Ravens hosting the unbeaten Pittsburgh Steelers. I tell you what, it lived up to the billing. Kind of a weird game, though. The Steelers capitalized on turnovers in this one. This Ben Roethlisberger touchdown pass, came after an interception. Steelers rallied to beat the Ravens 28-24. Steelers are 7-0 and the only undefeated team in the NFL. The Ravens fall to 5-2. Next 3 games for Pittsburgh: Dallas, Cincinnati, and Jacksonville. Orlando, do they get to 10-0?
Man, I know it's hard to win in the NFL, but you look at that schedule, you got to be smiling if you are Pittsburgh right now. Next stop for us, upstate New York, the Buffalo Bills hosting the Patriots. The Bills' Zach Moss had a couple of touchdown runs to lead Buffalo. The Bills, though, had to kick a late field goal to get the W. New England had a chance, but Cam Newton fumbled the rock, and Buffalo snaps a 7-game skid against the Patriots, moving to 5-2. Patriots now 2-5. They've lost 5 in a row. Are you feeling bad for the Patriots right now?
No, I don't feel bad for them at all. I mean, they've done so much winning. Hey, this is just a rebuilding year for them. They'll get it back together. We know they will.
All right.
Hey, the Titans on the road in Cincinnati, Ohio for a date with the Bengals. You know what? This turned out to be the surprise game of the day. The Bengals, Giovanni Bernard, he just slashes right through the defense for the score.
Oh.
Yeah, look at that. Cincinnati never trailed in this one. They go on to shock the Titans 31-20. Joe Burrow, another solid day. Bengals 2-5-1. That matches their win total from all of last year. Titans 5-2. Orlando, that 2 losses in a row for Tennessee. You worried about them now?
Not quite yet, but they've got to be able to pressure the quarterback or they are going to get carved up. Just give the ball to Derrick Henry. You'll be all right moving forward.
That's right.
Time now to take a look at our heroes and zeros. We're talking about the players and teams that had good weeks and those with not so good weeks. We open with our heroes. First up, the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes. Come on now, man. All he did today was throw for 416 yards and 5 touchdowns. Kansas City rolled over the Jets 35-9. The Chiefs now 7-1, and the Jets, 0-8.
I might be able to throw a touchdown against the Jets. Hey, our next hero, running back Dalvin Cook of the Minnesota Vikings. He had a monster game in the win over the Green Bay Packers. 30 carries, 163 yards, another 63 yards receiving, 3 rushing TDs, also caught a touchdown pass in there. Vikings surprised the Packers 28-22.
I'm still thinking about you throwing touchdown passes against the Jets, man. All right, now it's on to this week's zeros. Chalk went up for Jared Goff of the Rams. He turned the ball over 4 times. Can't do that. 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles against the Dolphins, and Miami wins it 28-17. Tua Tagovailoa gets a win in his first NFL start.
Good for him. Hey, this one is going to go into the Zeros Hall of Shame. Chicago wide receiver Javon Wims. Look at this. He attacks New Orleans C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Snatched at his necklace first, then you see him throwing those punches. Wims got tossed from the game, of course. He's probably going to be hearing from the league about his actions, maybe a fine and a suspension.
No doubt. That phone call is coming.
You know it.
Pac-12 football just 6 days away. But who's counting, right?
I am.
Yeah, me too, man. We now know who's playing quarterback for the Beavs. We'll hear from Tristan Gebbia. And the Beavers' old starter could be starting on Sunday. Why, Jake Luton could get the call in Jacksonville.
Welcome back to Sports Sunday. 6 days to go, and the Oregon Ducks will kick off the Pac-12 season, the football season, against Stanford Saturday at Autzen Stadium. The 12th-ranked Ducks are an 11.5-point favorite against the Cardinal. Now, fall camp really pretty much done for the Ducks. Still a lot to be decided, though, before the home opener. Head coach Mario Cristobal still has not named a starter at quarterback. Tyler Shuck gets most of the first-team reps. Transfer Anthony Brown, he's getting most of the second-team reps.
The rep count will be what it always will be for us in terms of the game week and the quarterbacks handling it. And that being said, a big part of that is even going into this final week, we feel that both these quarterbacks are going to be prepared to play and play winning football for us.
We'll talk about the Ducks a little more in a moment. The Beavers will host Washington State in Corvallis. Wazoo coach Nick Rolovich, he won't tell us who his starting quarterback will be, but all signs point to Jaden DeLaura, a true freshman from Hawaii. He'll be the first true freshman to open the season as a starting QB in school history. The Beavers will counter with redshirt junior Tristan Gebbia. Gebbia has been with the Beavs for 2 years and he's played pretty well during the team scrimmages so far this year. He's the only offensive player named as a team captain. Gebbia talked about winning the starting job.
I think any camp where you're improving every day, and having a good time playing with your closest friends. I mean, I think that it was a good thing for me. Being able to get back into it and working every day to be the best version of myself that I can.
All right, Art, what are you looking forward to with this Beavers team?
Well, I like the fact that they've got another year under Jonathan Smith. You know what? He's been putting everything that he wants into place, getting the players he wants. There's a lot of enthusiasm with that team. Even when they weren't winning a lot of games, they were still enthusiastic, and I think that's going to continue, and I'm looking forward to seeing that this year. I think it's going to translate into more wins.
It feels like they're on an upward trajectory still, right?
Yeah, it really does. They're definitely going in the right direction. What do you think about the Ducks?
Man, there's so many questions, Art, with this year's team, especially the offense. A brand new offensive line. How are they going to react? Obviously, a new quarterback with Herbert in the NFL, and a new play caller with offensive coordinator Joe Moorhead. So there are just so many questions with this team. We know that they have boatloads of talent. They're going to be really good, and I mean, rightfully so, ranked in the top 25 to open the season. So, I mean, there's just so many questions. I can't wait to see this team play in a week along with the Beavers. We're going to know a whole lot more about both of these two teams in 6 days.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see what they do on the offensive side of the ball as well.
Former Beavers quarterback Jake Luton could end up starting for the Jacksonville Jaguars next week. The Stash, you know him, Art. Gardner Minshew, he's hurt. So the Jags have told Luton and Mike Glennon that they are competing to replace Minshew in Week 9 against the Texans. We got more Sports Sunday on deck. We'll be right back.
Dave Roberts. Quick strike play. Dodgers have won it all in 2020.
Crazy that this happened this week. The Los Angeles Dodgers are World Series champions. They beat the Tampa Bay Rays 3-1 in Game 6 to take the series 4-2. It was the Dodgers' first title since 1988 after coming up short in the World Series twice in the previous 3 years. That is also your Toyota Sunday Sizzle. All right, Art, I'm curious to get your take on this one, man. The Blazers unveiled a new uniform, and they are really different.
Yeah, they are.
For the first time in Trailblazers history, the word Oregon is stitched on the front. They chose the earth tone color to represent the state's landscape, and the fabric has a topography pattern for our rugged terrain.
Yeah.
There's also a nod to the native tribes who call this area home. The phrase, "We will always be here," is printed on the jerseys. When you buy a jersey, part of the proceeds go to the NAYA Family Center. It's a local nonprofit that supports Native families. All right, Art, let's hear it. You buying one?
Probably not. I like, you know what? I like where the money, some of the proceeds are going. I'm not sold on that. I need to see bodies, real people in these things before I can make a final decision.
That's fair, man. I thought you handled that well. I was wondering. I'm not going to lie, unpopular opinion, but I really like the color. All right, the Blazers also unveiled the court design for the upcoming season. Several noticeable changes. Portland and Trailblazers words on the court will be uppercase font. Oregon shows up next to Rip City on the sideline. The three-point line, half-court line, and hash marks for the coaching box will be red instead of black. Some of the season ticket holder names will also appear in the names at midcourt or near midcourt. All right, Art, it's a battle of temporary roommates at Providence Park. The Timbers hosting Vancouver, and it is 1-0 Portland in stoppage time. I am not going to jinx them. I believe it was 2 weeks ago that we talked about them wrapping things up, and
And nope, so don't do it.
I'm not going to do it, man, but they're up right now 1-0 against the Whitecaps. We'll be right back. Art, we didn't jinx it. Timbers win.
We didn't. Yes.
First place in the West.
Love
Nice
it.
work tonight, Art. It's time to leave everybody with our plays of the week.
Ball ready, it's go time. Lights, camera, action, showtime. The heart of a champion, my opponent's headed. The throne is for the taking.
It's an absolute banger. Great ball from Jimmy Chara, and what a fantastic finish. First time.
Set up for Tony. Tony so electric, still on his feet. Kadarius Toney